gonna be, you have to rip them out in the morning. You have to have a friend like put a foot on your head and just. Hello, my name is Jason. I'm a registered polysomnographic technologist, or a sleep tech. I am the founder of freecpapadvice.com and freecpapadvice.com/forum. I also make all the rad videos on this YouTube channel, the Lanky Lefty 27. All right, I have done 3 videos on the air ring. Why have I done so many? One, because I think it's a scam, and I'm trying to warn you, the consumer, about it, and I'm trying to educate people about it. Now you're like, why do you feel like you can educate people about it? Because it's my field. So if I have a plumbing question, I ask a plumber, because I don't know. If I have a question about, I don't know, engineering stuff, I ask my engineer friend. You know, you just ask people that have expertise in the field, and you weigh that with your own personal common sense. And so that's what I'm going to try to do here. So some of the complaints of my previous videos was, one, people think I'm uninformed, they think I'm a dick, I guess. I think I'm not bringing any information to the table. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to, you know, I'm still going to be a dick, you know, honestly. That's just what I do. I say things that are kind of dick-like. That's just what I do, all right? So I'm going to try to add a little more facts to this and a little more facts, a little more evidence-based stuff, and just get you, basically, you yourself to think about it and answer some of the questions that I've identified in comment sections and some things that I look back and I go, I kind of missed that. I probably should have tackled that a little better. Let's get to some of these comments here.
While in the end, this may be a scam, you sure didn't prove that or even come close. This video is really nothing but a bunch of off-the-cuff, uninformed opinion. If the airing project is honest, it seems like there ought to be plenty of professional investors willing to drop some money into this. I won't be investing up front, but if it comes to market and works as advertised, I will be keenly interested. Love, Doug Larson.
Doug, I'm going to try to not do those off-the-cuff remarks. All right, Doug Larson? Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
Every time I see people commenting about anything other than the Cpap, people that use and promote Cpap act like absolute douches and almost like a cult. So what if there are things that are being trialed that could be better alternative than the Cpap? Why beat them down? Do you think if it is a scam, it would even sell or get approval from FDA? What are you guys sacred of? Sometimes I feel people like you are being paid by Cpap so they can sell this machine. And for the users, they are just like brainwashed addicts who don't want to use anything else, so they won't like other people to have better options. Jeez.
People who promote Cpap, I'm not promoting Cpap, nor do I think anyone's really promoting Cpap. What they're trying to do is steer people towards something that actually works and has data behind it that works and exists right now. I also say better alternative than Cpap. The makers of this claim that it's a Cpap without headgear and it has its own independent power supply. I think would get approval from the FDA. Yeah, there's been plenty of stuff that gets approval from the FDA that shouldn't have. It's weird, I feel like I'm trying to help people out and steer them away from something that's like a pie-in-the-sky pipe dream. So I almost feel like if there's someone running out into the middle of the street about to get hit by a bus and I grab them and pull them back, they're like, hey buddy, what are you scared of? I'm not scared of anything. If you want to invest in this thing, go for it. I'm just trying to point you to the direction of this thing. They claim it's better than Cpap, but really it is Cpap. And none of this stuff makes sense into what's going into it. We'll get to some more of this stuff later. I feel that you're being paid by Cpap. What? Like a Cpap machine is paying me money? That doesn't even make sense. All right, this is from my good friend Tanya Nyebkoshchanyanya. We go way back. Good buddy of mine. Anyway, go ahead and take a look-see at what this guy writes. Pause if you need to, but look at what he has to say. It's too long for me to read. Go ahead and take a look at his opinions of this and the energy, battery capacity, size it would have to be for these pumps, and yeah, this is a different guy's opinion. Roger E. Stepp.
It may well be a scam, but your rambling smartass narrative, mostly about trivial aspects of the promotional video, certainly did little to support your case, and your malicious and probably woeful, ignorant comment about the FDA certainly indicated to me your review isn't worth much more than the airing.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Easy, Roger. Easy. Yeah, sometimes I ramble and sometimes I'm smartass. By the way, I'm sorry your wife left you and sorry you lost your job. What you don't know is I play pickup with Roger and he's still mad that I dunked on him. Now that's trivial and smartass. We just mentioned before about the FDA. here's something from the actual former FDA commissioner's mouth about it. Why take it from me? You're right. I'm a schlub. Okay, fair enough. You think I'm paranoid that the FDA will possibly approve something like the airing. So let me just answer that with this.
After his resignation as the post of the commissioner of the FDA, Dr. Herbert Lay Jr. said in an interview he warned the public about the FDA's inability to safeguard consumers. People were being misled, he believed. The thing that bugs me is that people think the FDA is protecting them. It isn't. What the FDA is doing and what the public thinks it is doing it are as different as night and day, he said. The agency, in his opinion, did not have the motivation to protect consumers, face budget shortfalls, and lack support from the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. He also stated that he had constant, tremendous, and sometimes unmerciful pressure from the drug industry and the drug company lobbyists, combined with the politicians who worked on their behalf for their patrons, could bring tremendous pressure to bear on him and his staff to try preventing FDA restrictions on their drugs. And in this, we can infer medical devices.
Roger, you cut me deep. Gotta be honest, you cut me deep.
Now batting, Mal Maru.
A Cpap machine lowers the pressure delivered to you when you exhale, making it easier to breathe out against the air pressure. How is this airing device going to do all of this considering the size of the unit? The electronics need to drive the blowers on and off when you inhale exhale cannot possibly fit into this unit, in my opinion. The battery will not be rechargeable as mentioned by AirRing last month to date. There is no rechargeable battery technology out there that is small and light enough to power AirRing's microblowers overnight.
Joseph Cooksey. Get it on eBay for $6. It comes from China, LOL.
Lyndon Smith.
This is not a reliable video, not the guy with the invention, but dude that makes this video your garbage. Why don't you show the video where guy explains how it works instead of being a dumb
Lyndon, if you want to see a video on how this works, you should probably go to their website instead of a guy doing a video that was slamming it. I also think you should buy some punctuation. That was a run-on sentence.
20 centimeters of pressure? Not such a thing in this entire planet. Pressure equals force divided by the area. Have you ever heard of PSI in your 27 years as a veteran respiratory therapist? You can measure distance, height, width, and depth with centimeters. But not pressure. Oh.
Jody, I just felt like I should probably let you on a little secret that that's how Cpap pressure is measured. It's centimeters of water pressure. I actually have a video of it on my YouTube channel. If you look up centimeters of water pressure, I do a video. I show you how the air pressure lifts up a column of water. I just didn't want you to feel bad about it because you kind of hung your ass out there a lot. I'm looking out for you, buddy.
Herb Clark.
You obviously have never used a traditional Cpap. I have had one for over a year and finally have quit using it because it dried my mouth and throat out. I discovered that others had the same problem. I'm gonna try it out and give it a chance. Obviously all the existing Cpap doctors and techs feel threatened. I have also tried several of the devices mentioned on your site and all of them did the same thing. The Cpap is a piece of crap and I have not met anyone who has positive reactions. Of course they are all threatened. We will see who is correct.
You're so dumb.
Love Herb Clark. This guy's gonna fail Cpap basically because he got a dry mouth and a dry nose. One, that's not gonna change with the airing if it does what it says it's gonna do, if it's ever invented. He just has a simple mouth leak. You solve the mouth leak, everything's better. Then he goes to the same problem of, obviously, Cpap docs and techs are feeling threatened. There's nothing to feel threatened about. You think a doctor is gonna lose his job over this? You think me, a sleep tech, is gonna lose his job over this? Again, we work in diagnostics, not the treatment section. And if there is a new treatment, we'll start using that in the lab instead. I've never met anyone that has had a positive reaction to Cpap. Methinks you don't have many friends.
Chalmers here makes several points. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but one, no medical device requires crowdfunding. It's typically from other investors that are more legitimate if the company is legitimate. Also, he says a Cpap machine is more than just blow air. It monitors, records data, leaks. It also transmits this to either your physician or the DME, which this is going to be way too small to have a modem on it. Another point is that the device delivers 20 centimeters of water pressure, and it's not going to stay in your nose without straps. Now, it claims to have those beveled edges that are going to keep it stuck in your nose, but got to consider this in the morning when you're trying to pull it out. Holy crap, that's going to rip off some nose hair. Yeah. Another thing is the cost that's brought up. $3 a day, that's 365 times 3, well over $1,000, not even including the shipping. It's going to be a little more expensive than actual just Cpap, just per year. Now, the use of this device is going to be, they're claiming it's going to be used by using micro blowers. Now, they already exist. They're susceptible to being clogged up by just lint and pretty much anything. You cover your blanket over your face, it's going to clog them up. This works pretty much the same as a bike pump. That's a lot of air to be forced in from such a small blower. Now he makes some other really good points. I encourage you to pause this and read it. Tio Hernandez.
Someone is afraid to lose his job. You didn't do your homework. It is Indiegogo.
This is cool. We had a celebrity stop by, Tio Hernandez. He's that guy. He was in WWF back in the day. He was the wrestler that used to wear like the mask. That's him. So this is a common theme here. You try to discredit the person by acting like they're afraid of something. First things first, before we get too far into this, I want you to hear the most recent update from Stefan Marsh, the founder of the Air Ring. And I will interrupt it constantly with snarky comments. I promise.
All right, I don't want to put words into Stefan Marsh's mouth, so let's hear exactly what he has to say. And of course, I'm going to interrupt practically constantly. Here we go.
I want to thank you so much for your support. Your contributions make this all happen.
Yes, your money does make it all happen.
Your kind words of encouragement are just super.
Because they counter what mean shit I say constantly.
They really propel us, and especially your patience. I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, you're going to need patience, as you see, because this is a lot of smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors. Step right up, smoke and mirrors. A lot of this technology already exists, and some of the stuff that he's about to, and I use air quotes, invent, will be better served in other products. But let's continue.
Since this campaign began, major corporations have been reaching out to us. They want to manufacture the Air Ring device. They want to make the microblowers into components to put in, and they want to power the device. And of course, everybody wants to distribute it.
Yes, everybody wants to distribute it. You know what? I mean, honestly, if this thing came out tomorrow and it was a real thing and people were loving it and it worked, yeah, everyone would want to distribute it because that's where you make money, by distributing it. Well, Choco Taka here, yeah, I don't know what companies he's saying wants to manufacture it, but yeah, I believe there are people that would like to earn your business. If you need someone to manufacture them, of course people are coming forward saying, I would like to manufacture this for you. That's not really like a feather in your cap. It's just people lining up to take your money, Mr. Marsh, after you took other people's money. Let's continue.
But today, I wanted to take you into the lab and show you the magic that's going on to make the Air Ring device an actual reality and a product.
By the way, never trust a man with a ponytail. If you have a ponytail, yeah, never trust a man with a ponytail.
Here we are in the lab, and
unless like their name's Running Bear, then that's cool.
Talk about the actual microblowers and the test fixture. And I wanted to tell you that we are continuing to work on the body and the nose buds of the Air Ring device itself, and have been doing some testing for sealing and pressure testing, and that's a sort of a parallel effort, but very important. But what I wanted to share with you here today was very exciting. We just got the repeatable layer of the microblowers and a test fixture that I shared with you in the last update. We have a refined one here, and now, just now, we get to put those repeatable layers in the test fixture and power it by these drive circuitries here and actually start to move the membranes, and soon we'll be in a position to actually start to measure the air and the pressure that these little vibrating membranes are able to create. And that is the core technology of the microblower.
Yeah, and these already exist. I mean, this isn't anything that doesn't exist already. The problem is going to be the quantity that you need to move the amount of air that you're going to need to make this function as a Cpap. Keep in mind, this isn't like it's different than Cpap. I mean, they even call it a micro Cpap device. The whole point of it is to create continuous positive airway pressure. The entire invention is basically a Cpap machine, but you take away the hose and you shove it up your nose. That's mine. I'm gonna register that. Even if all of this stuff comes to fruition, what you basically have is a nasal pillow mask without a tube. That's it. All this technological advancement that everyone keeps chiming in on and saying, "Oh, this is the best thing ever, man. You guys hate progress. You don't like it. Stuck in the past with your buggy whips." So I mean, like, seriously, it's like if this were the buggy whip, his invention would be like taking away the whip. Now there's like you have a boot and you can kick the horse instead. That's like the big technological jump we're seeing here. Just getting rid of the hose, not so much a jump. So if you can't use Cpap for some reason, really this isn't going to do any difference unless it's the hose. Like you specifically have a problem with the hose and that's the entire reason why you're failing Cpap, which I highly doubt, very highly doubt it. This isn't going to do jack poo.
I really want to thank you again because all of this progress is only possible because you guys have supported us with all your contributions. Please keep it up. Share this with all of your friends. You know, we're really committed to getting this thing out to you, and I can't thank you enough for that.
I'm touched. I'm touched.
Okay, it wasn't in the video, but what I really want to draw your attention to is that somewhere on one of their websites where they have all the updates, after $2 million of donations, after $2 million of donations, and oh God, I'm losing my train of thought because this makes me so happy. $2 million of donations, and 1 year, what they have done with that money is they've hired some people and they got some office space. I swear they got some office space. Tremendous. Tremendous. Wow. Good job. So here's the problems that I identified. I'm going to go one by one and then we'll get into some fun and we'll be dicks. All right, cool. So one of the things I've identified is the technology isn't there yet. Or is it? So of the technology, what does it need? It needs power. Okay, I'm going to use this. Essentially, this is just a nasal Cpap pillow. All right, it is from the SwiftFX, and roughly it's about the size of what the airing is supposed to be. So this is going to be our, we'll call it our prototype, just as a size reference. All right, because apparently size does matter. Okay, so the current batteries that are available for Cpap and the power that it requires. Okay, this is important. The power that it requires. If we consider this is our airway, right? This is closed, this is open. So if we have an apnea, it's going to be closed. The power from the Cpap or the airing needs to still create the same amount of power and lift it up so that we can breathe. We agree on that? Yes, everyone agrees on that. This isn't going to change. So the current Cpap battery power is going to remain the same at the highest pressure of 15 centimeters of water pressure. It will run at 9 hours at just shy of 8,000 milliamperes. You can get a little more out of it if you're down to 10 centimeters of water pressure. I'm going to assume that as we increase the pressure more, you get less time out of it, but you can still get a full night's sleep, which is wonderful because the airing is supposed to be disposable. All right, so it's 8,000 milliamperes per night, 3 amp output at 14 volts. Okay. That currently exists. It weighs 2.5 pounds. Can you imagine having 2.5 pounds hanging off the front of your face while you're trying to sleep? Hardly the invention that we're going to have that's going to wean us off of the evil Cpap, right? Why is the air ring better? Because it's better than Cpap. We're told. Okay, so looking around, the best lithium-ion battery that I can find that's in production right now, it is 2,000 milliamperes at 3.7 volts, and the rate is only 1 amp. We're going to need 2 more amps, and we're going to need to have 6,000 more milliamperes and a lot more volts. Now we're going to overshoot the amps. We're going to need 4 of these babies just to get the voltage right and the amps right. So what do we have to do? We're going to have to buy 4 of these babies. Now current price is about $13 each. Now you can get them in bulk for $12 each. So 12 bucks each, we're looking at 48 bucks a night. Hardly seems like a deal, right? I mean, you can get discount masks for that much. So not exactly cost effective. Now, if Mr. Marshall's gonna buy these, we're talking in the millions, he's still not gonna get it down that much. So right now, as far as cost effectiveness, that's not looking very good. Now, if for some reason he comes up with a battery technology that does solve this problem, think of a business person. Are you just gonna sell it for Cpap? You're gonna use this newfound battery technology to power a Cpap. Really, I think there's a lot of car manufacturers that are gonna want this. God, I have all these Ryobi tools like lawnmowers and crap like that. If you can get the battery down to nothing, why are you gonna focus on just Cpap? Now, let's be honest, come on. This isn't a proof of concept for their battery technology, right? I'm sure some trolls are gonna disagree. All right, number 2, this baby needs to blow. Needs to blow a lot of air. Now on his video, which I'm gonna show you here in a minute, this technology already exists. The microblowers, they're just piezoelectric pumps. They pump air, they blow air. I'll show you a picture of it now.
So this here is the microblower that Marsh is claiming to be inventing for the air ring. As you can see here, it actually already exists, so he's really not going to be inventing anything. This thing is about just under 2 millimeters in size and is a piezoelectric microblower.
Okay, it exists. Now how big are these? These are just under, so let's just call it, they're just under 2 millimeters in width. Now in my conversions, and I did ask my engineer friend, how many of these you're gonna need? How many of these pumps are you gonna need to get that volume of air that you need for that amount of pressure, for that amount of energy to lift up the airway? And the rough estimate was 400 to 500 of these little units. So if we were to say, let's go conservative, let's play fair. If we have 400 millimeters of these, I'm sorry, it would be 800 because 400 times 2 millimeters. So we have 800 millimeters, which is 80 centimeters. You need 80 centimeters to fit into this. Keep in mind, 1 centimeter is about like that. And we need to stuff 80 of them in here. Now you could be like, oh, well, why don't you just shrink them? You have to have them a certain way. You're not gonna compress the air. Though you can compress air, you're not gonna have an air compressor in here, especially when on every breath it needs to blow. It's not possible to stuff that in here. And that's not something that you can say, oh, increased technology. It's just not possible. Unless it's a fan, but it's not a fan. They are saying that you're using a piezoelectric pump, which again already exists. That's their microblower. Now if you had a fan in here, that's also getting a little rough, but let's not go there yet, okay? That's not what they're claiming. With piezoelectric pumps, ain't gonna happen. Here's another issue. Is it different than Cpap? And if so, is that good? So the problem with Cpap, I don't know what the problem is with Cpap, but they're saying that the hose apparently and the straps are keeping them awake. So is this different than Cpap? I guess they're saying it is. They're saying that you're gonna plug this in and that force of the air is not gonna be blown off your face because it's so tightly in your nose, I guess. Ugh. It sounds gonna be hard. It sounds like it's gonna be really hard to pull out in the morning. But how is it different than Cpap? They say that they are Cpap. Well, Cpap stands for continuous positive airway pressure. So this is your closed airway again. Continuous air is in here, keeping that inflated. Now what Airing is saying that they're doing is that it's gonna shut off after you exhale, which means if you have apnea, boom. Then they say that when you start to breathe again, it's gonna save energy. And they're saying it's going to not dry you out as much, which doesn't make sense. By when you start to breathe again, it's gonna go and inflate it. If you scuba dive, you know it's kind of a supply and demand system. When you start breathing in is when it doesn't just keep forcing air at you like a firefighter's mask. It's supply and demand. Well, if your airways collapse, how are you gonna initiate that breath? Well, what happens in the lab is people go and they wake up. Well, now it puffs you. You're already awake. It's already failed. It's not working. So you have to have it continuous blowing, which again goes into the energy requirements needed not being able to be met. But if it does, supply and demand, can you imagine how much that's gonna dry you out? Just throughout the night, that's gonna dry out your nose like crazy. It's also gonna wake you up. If you can sleep with it, wow, more power to you, but holy crap. Another claim is that this will somehow solve people failing Cpap. I simply disagree. I think the reason people fail Cpap isn't from all the headgear and stuff. I think it's that one, they're on the wrong pressure, or two, they have a mask that's uncomfortable for them, or three, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't have a support system. So, hey, us at freecpapadvice.com, we help people through it. If you have questions, we help you solve it. We can identify if you're at an appropriate pressure, and we have mask suggestions based on your needs. So a lot of people with nasal pillow mask, which is pretty much what airing is supposed to be, it causes nosebleeds and it irritates the inside of the nares. How's that going to change with the airing, especially when it has those like barbs coming out of it that are going to hold back 20 centimeters of water pressure without headgear? How's it going to do that? It's going to be, you're going to have to rip them out in the morning. You have to have a friend like put a foot on your head and just pull it off of you. Think about this logistically. Does that make sense? And the last thing that I identified is somehow people in the sleep community are going to be afraid of this technology. I work in the sleep community. I'm not afraid of this technology. I work on the diagnostic side of this. So if for some reason airing is like, dude, awesome, works like a charm, I'm still going to be in the lab, still doing tests on people. I'm still going to determine whether or not they do or don't have sleep apnea. And actually, I'm done with people before they get to the Cpap stage of it. I just like to help people. So currently now we run the test on them. If they need the gold standard treatment, which is Cpap, we put it on them just to see if it works or not. You still have to diagnose them. That's where I work. The treatment doesn't matter to me at all. Just right now, the gold standard treatment is Cpap, and so I would like for it to work on people that need it. Why? Because it seems like the nice thing to do. Now you might be going, oh yeah, well sleep doctors, they make money on Cpaps. Well, if it's the airing, are they going to make money on airings too? They don't really make money on Cpaps, by the way, but that's the argument from these folks. If they make money on Cpaps, how are they not going to make money on airing? And what about the people that sell Cpaps? You think they're afraid? No, they're just going to buy airings instead. The whole system's in place, dude. No matter what it is, they're going to sell that or they're going to prescribe that or whatever. It doesn't change anything, so there's really no fear there.
All right, guys, this is the recap of the year by airing. Just over a year ago, I'm going to kind of cut to the crux of it. They're saying we just came out with this like a year ago, and we're going to change the world. Our campaign's spreading like wildfire. People are fed up with their treatment options, and they want something radically better. So remember, this is just a Cpap without a hose. Radically better is Hoseless. With thousands of people contributing to our campaign, sharing our story and offering help, we were able to roll up our sleeves and begin delivering on this design. Because of the amazing outpouring of support, we have been able to raise funds, read take your money, move into a new space, read spend your money, hire team members, read share the wealth with friends, and strategic partners, purchase equipment and materials, some shit off of eBay, which I'll show you here in a second, and make significant progress in turning our inventive design into a functional prototype. Bam! I'm going to show you that functional prototype. Guys, you don't have to wait. It's already here. It's at eBay. As you can see, they use the exact... You can have this now, guys. Go to eBay. I think you type in stop snoring, easy breathing. This is the same. There it is. All you need is to they even it's the same thing. You can see where they smudged out airing. Oh, that's fantastic. Look at this. Oh yeah, it's here, guys. It is here. It is here. This is the airing. Oh, baby. Nice. All right, you can have it now for $464. Obviously, you use major credit cards are accepted. It's awesome. Just fantastic. Oh, man, I can't tell who's copying who, but that's just funny. All right, there's another thing on their page. This is showing their microblowers that apparently they have invented, even though they've been around for quite some time. And they're just trying to show that they can show that they work. We already have video that they work. They've been around forever. It's nothing new. God, you know, I swear to God, they're just like trying to make us think that they are using our money on things that don't exist and that they're totally cutting edge. This is nothing new. Let's do a super quick highlight of some of the where the money is being spent. So we have this is Dr. Jeffrey Gill Martin. He says, the work at airing represents the pursuit of disruptive innovation that could very rapidly change the way sleep-distorted breathing is treated. It can now be treated by a Cpap without a hose. And over here, and in the right corner is Dr. Jeffrey, with a J, Boss. He says, I think it's going to be wonderful for people. For the first time, we have a treatment that patients will be willing to use. I think airing will have a tremendous impact. Oh, let's be honest. Do you remember The Fugitive, the guy that was trying to hunt Dr. Kimball, played by Harrison Ford? Does he not look like the guy with the prosthetic arm that killed his wife? Come on. Come on. Be honest. Now, this guy, if I'm not mistaken, this guy is a Harvard-trained pulmonologist, and this guy is, it says Brigham and Women's Hospital. I don't know. I wanted to say it was MIT. I could be thinking of someone else. But now these are the guys, and I think it's so fabulous. Let's not get past the fact this is a nasal pillow mask. It is still CPAP. It does not have a hose, and it will be powered by batteries. This is nothing new. This is if it works. If the battery, this is all about the battery technology. Everything else exists. They need to get the micro pumps much smaller, fitting inside there. They need to have a crap ton of circuitry in there. God, they're gonna have to have a lot of stuff stuffed in there. Microblowers, things to control the pressure, to sense the amount of pressure, so it knows when to turn on and turn off. And all of this is going to be stuffed into basically a nasal CPAP mask. I mean, seriously, these guys ought to know better. It's a bunch of snake oil stuff. This is just completely dishonest to me that these guys are acting like this is some kind of brand new invention. If it works, if everything comes together and everything is perfect, what you have is CPAP without a tube. Now, this is just outstanding. Here's one of the updates. This is from actually January 25th of 2016. What's in the box? We're very excited because a huge wooden crate's just been delivered. Inside is a vital piece of equipment, allowing us to basically do a bunch of crap in-house. We don't have to depend on anyone else. Woohoo! We are cruising now. And then they have a big picture of a giant-ass wooden box on a pallet in the middle of their lab. And they say, now where's the crowbar? I get it. Because they need to open the box. Yeah, you know what? If a bunch of people are donating a bunch of money, like you have $1.5 million, dude, show them a picture of what the hell is in the crate so we don't think you're full of shit. Because at this point, we already think you're full of shit. So anything you have that would add to your credibility would be super helpful at this point. So here's a passage from the airing website. This has to do with humidification, but what it does is it shows you a lot of insight into the thinking, the methodology of airing, and how they're trying to design it, and just things that simply don't make sense. And that's why I'm doing these videos. I'm trying to clear this up. So they're talking about humidification. When excessive air is blown continuously into the nose, the entire pathway can dry out and become quite uncomfortable. This is not natural breathing. Now understand that with CPAP, excessive air is not being continuously blown into the nose. It will do this if your mouth is open, and that will cause the air to go into your nose and back out of your mouth. That's when you have an open circuit. It's open to the atmosphere. And then excessive air will be blown in. If you have a closed circuit, though, what the purpose of CPAP is to create an environment of continuous positive airway pressure. The entire system, being your upper airway, is pressurized. It's going to keep this constant pressure. Now you're breathing in and out, and so it has to fluctuate a little bit to try to account for the exhalation and try to account for the inhalation to fill the void. But the airing is going to have to do the exact same thing. There really is no difference. Neither of them would be considered natural breathing. If you were naturally breathing, you wouldn't need treatment for breathing in the first place. Now here's another passage that just shows that they don't understand what they're talking about. CPAP and APAP systems do have the ability to reduce the total amount of air being pushed at the patient during exhalation, but only to a limited extent. Well, actually none of them reduce the total amount of air being pushed, whether it's BiPAP, APAP, or CPAP. The whole point of it is the PAP, positive airway pressure. Now bilevel is the only one that will actually reduce the amount of air being pushed, but it is still being pushed. What airing is claiming to do is actually shut off the entire airflow, and at this point the airway is going to collapse. So apnea occurs because your airway is collapsing. If that positive airway pressure is removed, the airway is going to collapse and then there's nothing for you to do to trigger a breath, and therefore there's nothing you can do to trigger the air ring to blow a crap ton of air at you to open up your airway. And even if it did, if it could actually do that and maybe just have a timer where you exhale and your airway collapses and it goes, okay, well, this guy's choking out for a little bit, let's go ahead and blast him with some air. You think that's going to wake you up just a little bit? Maybe just a little bit. And that's what they're saying here. The air ring device will have a built-in pressure sensing and will be able to adjust the microblower output instantaneously. Yeah, it's going to blast the crap out of you every now and then. This ability to respond where a person is in the breathing cycle eliminates the need for excessive airflow. Cpap doesn't excessively blow air, it just creates constant pressure. This allows for more natural breathing and mitigates or even eliminate the need for additional active humidification. I disagree. Actually, with it shutting off and then blasting, that's going to dry out your nose a lot faster than just if your upper airway is maintaining a constant pressure. But hey, you know what? Who am I? I'm just a guy on YouTube.
To summarize this, one more time, and I'm beating this to death. To summarize this, let's not lose sight. If the air ring is invented, let's not lose sight of what it is. It is a Cpap machine. So if you have a hard time with current Cpap, a Cpap without a hose and without a head strap is still going to be Cpap. You're still going to have the same problems with it. Unless for some reason your entire problem with Cpap is the headgear. If the headgear is causing you problems, okay, maybe it's an option. Keep in mind they already have masks made now that don't have headgear. So hopefully you understand that batteries have to be a certain size. So this is going to be, even if you improve on battery technology and you can make it smaller, it's still going to have a substantial amount of weight to it or be exceptionally expensive. Like I said, the cheapest, strong, most powerful battery, lithium-ion battery now, around 40 bucks for what you'd need to power this. They're claiming it's going to cost $3. We're kind of far off here. We're not like real close to a big breakthrough there. And if so, I believe that Elon Musk is probably a little closer to it for his Tesla cars. All of this new technology is going to have to be stuffed into a mask this size. Those repeatable blowers he's talking about are going to have to be stuffed into this. You're going to need, like, I believe it was 30 meters stuffed into this of repeatable blowers, along with all the circuitry. And it's also going to have to, it won't get clogged somehow from all that air being sucked in. You know, it's not like you have a filter system on your Cpap. You're going to need it for this too, or it's going to get clogged up. The prongs are going to be stuck into your nose. Those are going to have to be in there so tight that the positive pressure of whenever the thing decides to blow, whether it's continuous like it's supposed to be, but yet it says it's not at other times, it's still going to be blowing that air at some point. That's going to get launched out of your nose, or it's going to be stuck in there so tight that when using like a standard nasal pillow mask, that's going to cause you some severe problems with the sensitive skin in your nose, around your nares, and the air blowing straight in there. Bloody nose city. Okay, hopefully this has clarified some of those positions that some of the, I'll call them the naysayers of my video, are having. Hey, feel free to make more comments. I'll make these airing videos all day long. They get a lot of views. They get a lot of views. And quite honestly, I enjoy reviewing stuff like this. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it tackled some of the questions you may have had about the airing, and maybe it tackled some of the concerns that you had from my previous airing videos. Some of the claims that are made by this and some of the claims made by people who are, I guess, against my videos are intellectually dishonest. And I think if you were to look at, we just look at what they are claiming, and is it true, is it not? It doesn't take a lot of hard work to find this stuff out. But if you want to not look, if you don't want to see the truth, you're not going to see the truth. I think if this is something that people want and it does get developed, hey, that's fantastic. I just think it's super shady. That's all. Hey, if you like my video and you like what I'm doing here, how about you donate to me? Give me some loot, buddy. So here's our mission. We provide free information to people who use Cpap currently, but you know what? If it were the air ring, we'd try to find ways to help people on the air ring too. I have a feeling it's gonna be the exact same. And at this point, if someone was on the air ring and they're having problems, I'd say, you should probably just use a Cpap. Anyway, what our whole mission is to help people that have sleep disorders. Whatever the treatment is, it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. Educate people about sleep disorders, sleep apnea, narcolepsy, anything that falls into the realm of sleep and sleep products, we like to share with you and do videos on and share our opinion. And of course, we like to hear your opinions too. Give this video a thumbs up. Thanks, bye.